maybe you should lead to that question. Ask him, did you hear that something like this is happening? First, figure out whether they're informed on that. If they're not informed, the answers that they're going to give you may not matter that much. And then ask, okay, given that you're informed, here, or even if you're not informed, here is what we expect to happen. Given this, what do you think? How interested are you in new housing development? Okay. As I said in the beginning, context matters. Because without context, and I have a PhD, that's not necessarily a guarantee for intelligence. It means you were pretty patient and insistent on doing one specific thing. That's what a PhD means, by the way. I've seen a lot of dumb PhDs, and I've seen a lot of very intelligent high school graduates. How many? You should ask how many years. In terms of classes, typically you take 2 years of classes. And in many fields, you can start a doctoral program right after undergraduate. And after 2 years, depending upon the field, you take a number of exams called comprehensive exams. These are basically day-long exams. When I took mine at UK, we got in at 8 a.m. They said you got until 6 p.m. They gave us a bunch of questions. I think 3 were required. We were able to choose 3 out of remaining. They were research-related stuff. There was some theory as well. Once you pass those, it gives you the right to develop a dissertation proposal. So after that, you work on your dissertation. I mean, I finished in 3.5 years, but I had a lot of experience with research that helped. Average PhD student in finance economics takes 5 years. In more technical fields, it could take up to 8. So it varies. For example, as soon as my younger son graduates college in 2026, I'm going to start a second PhD in linguistics. I'm always interested in languages. I'm going to do it just for me. So, if I get a master's in linguistics, I can also teach foreign languages. There are a number of foreign languages I can speak to varying degrees of fluency. For example, I want to be able to offer Welsh. I speak obviously Turkish. I have a little bit of Japanese, but I forgot quite a bit of it. And I speak Uyghur, which is a Turkic language that's spoken in Western China. There's a region of China you may have heard. You guys know them as Uyghurs. No, they are Uyghurs. Uyghurs. They are Turkic people and majority Muslim. Chinese call that area Xinjiang. We call it East Turkestan. But that language is very closely related to Turkish. About half the vocab is the same. Grammar is very similar. Sorry? Pretty much. Or Dutch and English. Remember, Dutch, German, English are all Germanic languages. Even Norse languages are Germanic, kind of. English is a combination of, Angles, Saxons, and, Vikings came at the end of 8th century and stayed quite a bit. So I also know a little bit of Norwegian. I need to add to that. But if you look at Norwegian, it's a heavily smudged photocopy of English in grammar. And a lot of conjugations are easier. We say I am, you are, he is. They say I are, you are, he are, they are. It's all are. It's just spelled differently. They spell it as ER. And, similar with past tenses and other stuff. And if you are able to speak Norwegian, it's not too much to switch to Swedish and Danish, for example. They are also very closely related. I would actually almost call them dialects of a Norse language. But that's something I want to do, just for my own intellectual curiosity. How do you think I'm going to stave off Alzheimer's, man? I don't have my kids to argue with anymore. As you can see, typically my students don't respond much. So I need to keep myself intelligent. Okay. Next question. When you ask something like this, it's not a good idea to leave it as an open answer. You can always leave room for an open answer. Give them candidates. For example, let's do a question like that. Here. That's the thingy. Let's add a question. What matters for housing? Now, give them some choices. So what are some choices that you want to give them? Because you're designing the survey. Then asking you guys. When you ask them what matters most to you for housing, you should give them a few choices.
This is from campus. Price.
Let's call it affordability.
Amenities.
What else? And if you think that there's going to be a very few responses to a choice, don't list it specifically, because you don't want to confuse people. You know, let's clear that. Always, you can leave other, okay? But they can actually, let's preview that. I can actually write none of your business. That's kind of, these are the major things that I'm thinking of, but I don't want to limit you to those. If you want to come up with something else, write it there. So it's kind of combining a pure multiple choice with an open answer question. What is your price range in choosing new housing? What do you,
We have range in parentheses it should say monthly and per bedroom, so it's not confusing.
yeah,
We have range like 400, 500, 500, or 501 to 600.
yeah.
601, 700, and then 800 plus.
Now, there's a better way to ask that question. How much do you want to pay per month for new housing? Because when you say price range, are you talking about for buying, renting, staying? Again, it doesn't have to be that, but make sure that it's a statement that can be easily understood by everybody. That's always key in survey design. And then give ranges. Would you be interested in moving in with a roommate? And you can say, again, don't make that into a yes/no question. Definitely interested, maybe interested, I don't care. Depends on the roommate, not interested. Something like that. Because this is never a yes/no question. And there are a lot of things in life, there are very few things in life that are yes/no questions. If so, how many is acceptable? that's fine, you know, you can enter those 1, 2, 3, more than 3, or something like that. What amenities would be most important for you to have new housing? Instead of asking that, combine them into stuff, just like we did here. Let me see. Just like we did here. Let's change this, okay? Not important at all. Somewhat important. Don't care. Actually, in this case, the 4. Important. Essential. Again, you figure out your words. So amenities, AC, dishwashers, laundry, pet friendly, what have you. But you can ask all of them in one place. Instead of them asking to list things that are important to them, I don't know if you heard something called cognitive fatigue syndrome. People with high cognitive skills tend to think longer about questions that are of open nature compared to people with low cognitive skills. So reducing that to street language, you know, the dumbasses are gonna think of only 1 or 2 things that are most important to them. Okay, if they can't do without laundry, they're just gonna put laundry. Instead, you ask them, these are the things, what do you want? And how much do you want? That way, you don't have a difference of measurement between more intelligent people and less intelligent people, because you know they are probably equally likely to be your customers. So you don't want to create a mismeasurement. Okay. Let's stop here today. On Wednesday, we'll talk about the other one that I got. And if we got the third one as well, we'll talk about that too. I don't want to load you up before the fall break. As you remember, next Monday, we don't have class. It's fall break. All right? I'll see you guys Wednesday. Do you want me post that Google form for you guys? I'll post a link. It's kind of to get an idea of what sort of things you can do with it. Not that it's very complicated, but if you don't know that they exist, it's complicated.